Yeah, so we have our YouTube channel, which we'll bring up later. Okay, then next one we have reverse engineering, which is mainly about finding out how a program works. There are various areas, so like malware analysis or game hacking or program cracking, but the later two might not be legal, so won't recommend that. At least I will say that in this recording. And I'll talk more about malware analysis, which is something very important. Because, for example, we all know about this WannaCry ransomware from a few years back. And someone from the UK called Marcus Hutchins, he reverse engineered the ransomware and managed to find a kill switch that saved a lot of hospitals and a lot of institutions. So reverse engineering is a very important role and in a very important skill in malware analysis. And I think malware analysts are also quite high demand role. And on the other hand, game hacking, maybe some of us might use cheat engine before, like in games where like CSGO or Restaurant City, all these things. So Google, they have also made a game that is, they invited some CTF teams that qualified, that did very well in their CTF qualifiers and made this game for them to hack. So all of them were invited to play this game at the same time and see who can clear it the fastest. But they were given the game one day earlier so that they can build all their cheats for the game. So this is quite interesting. And if you're interested, you can go and look for it online. It's called Accelerate. So moving on, there's web. So nowadays, our lives are very connected to the web. Or to be precise, by web, I mean websites or web APIs like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Grab, Uber, all these things. Or Starbucks, even Starbucks, they have an app that has a lot of functionality. So although we may be more familiar with mobile apps, but they still use APIs that are interacted like they are with a website. And here are many bugs. There are many bugs that are being reported each year, maybe thousands or more on many different bug bounty platforms. And here's a quick example. Here we have this blind cross-site scripting attack on Twitter's internal data panel, which allows it to exfiltrate sensitive information. And you see Twitter takes it very seriously, and they gave out 5,000 in terms of bounty, quite a lot. So congrats to this guy. And secondly, we also have this, there's this contest on some Uber thing. And there's also a vulnerability where an attacker can view some sensitive information of members. So even small things like this are quite serious because companies, they are not supposed to allow other people to, there's these terms and conditions, privacy conditions that they need to follow, right? Yeah. So they also need to take this thing very seriously. And these are all very small but dangerous parts of websites or web APIs. Then moving on, we also have cryptography, not cryptocurrency, but mainly things that have to do with encryption or decryption. And in fact, this is what Prof. Chang will be sharing about later in his talk. Normally, it's quite a lot. There's a lot of math involved. But so if you are interested in algebra or number theory, then you might be interested in this. And here's an example, this crack attack. The full name is key reinstallation attack. It is a vulnerability found on WPA2 systems, not WPA2 encryption, which is very commonly used by Wi-Fi, a very commonly used scheme by routers and all that. And it is used very widely almost everywhere. And there's apparently this issue, security issue where people can just sniff packets without needing to know the password. So it already sounds very dangerous. But fortunately, the researchers, they inform all the vendors of operating systems or routers, firmware engineers, all them to fix this before publishing their research. And that's why there's no tragedy that happened. and it's reported that this was never exploited in the wild or in real life because they managed to fix it very quickly. Then moving on, we have another common one, which is forensics. So forensics now, this one, there's not much attacking involved already. It's more analysis. And there are two parts. One is file forensics, which may be things like we analyze image files or PDF files, things like this, because an image file, it can have a lot of information inside, like where was the photo taken, or who took the photo, or many different things, like what filters are applied. And there might, like location of a photo might be something interesting. And next we have memory forensics, which is normally we relate it with a Windows memory dump. So actually, when we run our computer, if we use Windows, we can do it on other systems. But for example, Windows, we can do a memory dump of Windows and just save the whole system memory to a file and then use it for analysis later. So, for example, some reasons for analysis might be the computer is infected with malware. Then someone, forensic analyst, might take the memory dump and try to find out what went wrong or what an attacker did. Or maybe you stole someone's computer and want to do something with it, but I don't know about that. So lastly, we have penetration testing, which is more like a mix of the categories mentioned above. Normally, there's a more strong focus on web vulnerabilities and some security concepts related to a system like Windows or Linux. And normally there are CTFs. Sometimes there are CTFs for pen testing also, but I think pen testing is a wider thing that goes beyond CTFs. And there's a lot of things to learn. Okay, so with that said, now let me share more about the local scene of CTFs. So compared to the past, in the maybe 4 or 5 years back, the local CTF scene has grown a lot in the past few years. And just last year, there's already been CTFs by DSTA, CSIT, DSO, some polys, SMU, and also one more by GovTech, which was December last year. I think a lot of us might have participated in that, all these events. So quite a lot. Looks like a lot of all the agencies are very hyped about organizing CTFs. Like I think like they do it like it's as common as hackathons now, it seems. And we can I'm quite proud to say that some of our members have done quite well in winning and getting top 10 in these competitions. So here are some stuff to show off. And normally the team size is 4, so that's why we might have 1 or 2 or 3 teams in the top 10. Okay, then show off done. Now for international events, there are a lot more. Like we have 6 in 1 year in Singapore, but there's almost 1 or 2 or 3 every weekend in the international scene. And there's this website called CTF Time where they post all the upcoming CTFs. And they are usually held during the weekend, so everyone around the world will be participating in this. We haven't been so active in them, but here are some results. We only played 4 this year, but the results are quite okay and quite satisfied with them. And just last Saturday, we played this and we got 5th place. So quite good way to start the semester. But in the end, I would say that CTFs are a really good platform for learning new things. Because there are challenges that might be easy, but there are also those that require us to step out of our comfort zone to learn new things. For example, I focus on reverse engineering, and there are many times where I needed to learn a new programming language or architecture just to understand what a program is doing, because there are so many programming language nowadays, like 10,000 of them. So if whatever program is given, we need to learn how to read it. And this exposed me to a lot of things that I don't learn in my modules. And I guess it's like what we always say, the real prize is the experience that we gain, even if we lose, to make ourselves feel good when we lose. Okay, so if you like CTFs and you want to try, we have one coming this Friday. Hopefully most of us have already signed up. You can get more info at ctf.nusgreyhats.org. We will be finalizing the groups tonight because the team size is 4, and we'll be combining the teams tonight or latest tomorrow. So if you don't have a full team and you want to play, should sign up as soon as possible. And don't worry if you have no programming experience or any CTF experience. We have prepared a lot of beginner level challenges that for you to get started in CTFs. And even if you don't have programming experience, also don't worry. There are a lot of challenges that don't need programming experience. I will expose you to them. Okay, then moving on. I will share a bit more about Greyhats now. Many people have asked us about how to join Greyhats, but before I answer that, let me share about Greyhats structure now, for now, so that this will help you make a better decision on whether you want to join Greyhats. So here it is shown, but to be clear, joining Greyhats means joining the Greyhats core team because our public events are open for everyone to join. So in a sense, everyone is a Greyhats public member, don't need to join. And this refers to events like Security Wednesdays and Welcome CTF. And then on the other hand, we have Greyhats core team. So like what we have here, I think you can guess, we are the team that is behind these public events. And to join Greyhats core team means that you are part of the team that organizes these events and you'll be helping around. But of course, that's not just it. We also do other stuff. So I will share more about them later. So one more time, this is what we are, one of the public events that we are doing this sem. And next up, we have Security Wednesdays, which is also what we are doing right now. It is held every Wednesday, 7 p.m. So see you around in the next few weeks as well. And we have invited a lot of speakers. We have alumni, we have profs, and we have people from the industry to come and give talks. So stay tuned for updates in our Telegram channel. I think a lot of you are in there. If not, then you can, I think someone can send the chat. Then one more thing we did for the public was a workshop for orbital mission control. We held a web security workshop by Junhua. He did a web security workshop for orbital participants to teach about web security. And that's mainly the stuff we did for last AY. But if you have any ideas for workshops, you can let us know, I guess. We will see if we'll do more in the upcoming sem. So now on to our core team. So our core team is kind of like a committee, I guess, because we organize events. But to keep the core team running well, we also have an EXCO team in the core team. Wow. So let me introduce you to our EXCO members who are working hard to keep our events running, like especially Security Wednesdays. Starting with the speakers, we have Ee-Chien or David, who is contacting the speakers for our sessions. But the very sad thing is he cannot come because he got lecture from 6 to 8. So I guess as the saying goes, 好心没有好报, but too bad. Then for logistics, we have Debbie, who works on the pre-event and post-event administrative stuff to make sure that we can run our event and also make sure that the event can run smoothly. And we'll have a post-event networking session later, so you can look forward to that. And then this session, we don't have this, but in later sessions, we'll be giving out Grab food vouchers to those who attend our sessions, as we have found a sponsor. But we are still finalizing the details, so we can look forward to that as well. And Kelvin, who is our treasurer, will be in charge of that. Then last but not least, for publicity staff, we have as we have seen on the SOC or Computing Club email newsletter or Telegram, we have our announcements. So this is done by Junhua, who is making sure that we all receive the latest announcements timely. I guess can call him publicity or in charge of social media. We also have our Twitter and Facebook page, but we'll share more about that later when we finalize things up. Okay, so besides organizing, I forgot. Also want to give a huge shout out to all our other core team members who have been working hard for this Friday's event. A lot of them have been putting in a lot of hard work, and if you are participating in the CTF, you'll interact a lot with them this weekend. Okay, so besides organizing events during this semester, we also have other events internally for our members to learn new things together and share something that they just learned. So here's our YouTube channel. We just posted the stuff that we did last summer break. We managed to complete 7 internal workshops from our Learn to Learn series. So we have quite an interesting name for this peer learning program called Learn to Learn. It's a name that was passed down by previous batches, so I might not know what it really means, but personally, I guess I can make up 2 meanings from it to sound a bit smart. So learning, one can be learn how to learn, because actually learning is a very important skill in InfoSec, because there's so many new stuff coming out, new technologies coming out every now and then. Like in the past, there's probably just Bootstrap and CSS, but now there's React, Vue, and there's so many, I cannot remember the names. And programming languages also, there's so many now. So there's always a need to catch up on new knowledge in InfoSec. So learning is a very important skill. And another meaning I guess I can say is we learn and then share with everyone else so that we can learn from each other. And this is, I would say, a very important part of Greyhats that we would want to keep it going, which is a culture of self-learning and then knowledge sharing within our team. So everyone can grow together. And other than that, we have a few once-off ad hoc activities last AY. So one of them is we did some CTF live stream session. So one person will be picking some challenges from Pico Gym, which is a set of CTF challenges by CMU, which are very good for learning. And we have some members doing this a few days before the DSO and US CTF, so we all can prepare together for it. And then we also have weekend, play some CTFs during the weekend, as what I've mentioned just now. So some person might find a CTF on CTF time that he's interested, then the member can share with everyone, who want to play CTF this weekend. Then if we get enough people who are interested, then we might play together, or if very sad, might play alone, but if no one comes. But hopefully it's not like this. But so far it's only been like this one time. Sorry to Kelji. Then next up we have alumni sharing by those who have just graduated a few years back. So during reading week last sem, we had the privilege of having our Greyhats alumni who works at Facebook, Apple, Snapchat, and Google. 4 different people working at these companies to share about their experience with us and how to get into a career in InfoSec. But we didn't make this public because they preferred not to be, because they are sharing some stuff that might need some approval maybe. So that's what we get for being in the core team. And those who took CS107 would know every semester Greyhats is invited to be an assignment TA for CS107 by preparing a CTF for the assignments. So I suppose those who took it last year will be somewhat familiar with me, Junhua, Debbie, Gerald, or Chenglong. Don't know if you hate us, but hope not. Then lastly, we have this pen test for social good. So not sure if everyone is aware, but SOC had this new initiative. They just launched this Center for Computing for Social Good and Philanthropy. And Prof. Bimlash has invited us to some of us to conduct pen testing workshops for neurodiverse students from ARC, Autism Resource Center and Pathlight School. Okay, apparently I took quite long, so I try to speed up a bit. So after going through this whole list, I guess many people might want to ask about the commitment level for Greyhats. If you have attended last week's SOC welcome session, you might hear that our commitment level is quite low or not a lot. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say as well, because normally we rely more on self-motivation to just read up on our own stuff and share with one another. And I guess for this semester, the main commitment will be to run our public events, which is Security Wednesdays. And then the next question that we received was, what are the reasons to join Greyhats? So we will invite you to join Greyhats, or more precisely is our core team. If you have a strong interest in InfoSec and you want to find a group of people to share the same interests, or you love CTFs and you want to find some people to play with, or you want to contribute to our public events, because we definitely need some manpower to do all this to keep the commitment low for everyone, including our own excos. So we work together, we hope to work together like a team. But don't need to be all of the above, just at least if you have one of these, then Greyhats core team might be a good place for you. And then what is the criteria to join? This is also something that we get asked a lot. Do I need prior experience? So firstly, we should have a strong interest in InfoSec, otherwise it doesn't make much sense to join an InfoSec interest group. But prior experience is not very important, because if we have a strong interest, then I believe we should be self-motivated to learn new stuff. Then the prior experience become not so important anymore. And another thing is the commitment, because our commitment level is not very high. So we just hope that if you want to join, you plan to stay committed to Greyhats core team. So this one is not any of the above, it's all of the above. And one more question is, when is the recruitment then? If you are interested to join the core team, when can you apply? So currently we are not opening up, we are just, but we can expect it to be in sometime in October, sometime in the semester. The main purpose is because we want people to first attend SecWeds and talk to us first during all the networking sessions. And this might give everyone a better idea on whether you want to join Greyhats or whether you are interested to join the core team. So for now, we just relax and enjoy the talks. Okay, so hopefully this answers most of the questions that you might have, and I'm done with my sharing. So here are the talks for next week. Actually, we haven't even started this week's second talk, but here's an announcement. So first we have Colonel Justin Ang from MINDEF, who will be talking to us about defending Singapore's digital borders. So this talk will be exclusive to NUS students only. So later we'll need to log in with our NUS account. So try not to miss it, because we will not record this talk. And next up we have a PhD student, Zhang Ji, but he'll talk about adversarial attack on machine learning models. So definitely something very interesting to look forward to as well. Okay, so that's all I have. Thanks for listening to me, and let me look at the time. Okay, 7:30, I think we can do a short Q&A session through Slido. Let me share my screen for that. Okay, at the moment, you can also put your questions in Zoom. Okay, so you can join it here and ask your questions. Oh, why got someone give sad face? We will post this recording on our YouTube channel. And we will share it through the announcement channel as well. Okay, this one was a test question, but from just now, so not important. But if you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah, we will share it in the Telegram announcement channel. Yeah, everyone is welcome. Any year is fine. Doesn't matter. How would the interview process be? We haven't decided on that yet, but based on previous years, we will have an application form first for people to uh, tell us more about them. And then we'll shortlist some people for interview. And during the interview, it's mainly to get to know you better. So to see whether you are a good fit for Greyhats core team or whether we are what you really are looking for. Oh no, this thing is, how do I scroll? Oh, okay. Okay, then next one is, what are the specific roles for core team? We don't have specific roles for now, but we plan to give everyone a small role in each event that we organize. So now we are focusing mainly on Welcome CTF. So we have a few roles for that. We have first the challenge creation team, and then we have the logistic infrastructure team. We'll be making sure everything, all the servers stay up. And we also have publicity team that will make the posters. And we also have a small moderators team to manage the competition chat on Friday. I think I didn't miss out anymore. Yeah, just this for now. So after Welcome CTF, we will assign into helping out with Security Wednesdays. It's Greyhats only for NUS students. So for the public events, it will be open to everyone. Because it's through Zoom only, so it's okay to anyone can join. But after it's not virtual anymore, if we can hold a physical event, people outside NUS can also come. If it's not an exclusive event, then for core team, yeah, it's only for NUS students. Then what does a usual session for us look like? We don't have regular meetups outside of these things. We have more once-off things like during the holiday, a few months back, we had our internal workshops. Then this semester we'll be having Security Wednesdays, or otherwise we'll be doing some stuff during the holidays. If you are not in the core team, can you still participate in CTFs? I guess you mean play with us. I guess a bit troublesome to do that, but if you are really interested, you can let us know. How many people are we intending to recruit? We don't have a number in mind for now. Probably just see how many are good. Then all events will be held online. This one we are not sure because we are just following guidelines for now. If they let us do physical events, then we will do it, then we can eat pizza together. And any recommendation to get started in pen test CTFs and InfoSec? There are YouTube channels that teach a lot, and there's this website called Try Hack Me. But I guess if you want to get started, then you can try our CTF this weekend. Then we might share more resources after it. Or an InfoSec, I guess take InfoSec modules, maybe. Okay, let me see what's the time now. Oh yeah, and you can take CS 2107 if you want to learn more about InfoSec. And what is the frequency of the learn-to-learn sessions? So far, we have only done it during the holidays. So I guess it's once a semester in that sense. We only did during holidays because we have more time to prepare for it. So how's the usual week like for a core team member? Like I said just now, the commitment level might not be very high, but now it's very high because we are preparing for the CTF this weekend and there's a lot of things to sort out. So the more busy week happens when we are organizing this thing. But I think after the CTF, it will be less hectic. We'll probably just be sorting out administrative stuff for Security Wednesdays. And then how many people are in the core team currently? We have around 20 people for now. We all InfoSec majors. No, we have a lot of people from InfoSec and we have a lot of people from CS. I am from CEG and we have another guy from CEG. Oh, okay. Okay, I think that's all. And just in time for our next talk. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, I guess no more. Then I will pass the time to Prof. Chang. So Prof. Chang, when you are ready, I think I need to make you co-host.
Yes.
Okay.
So before I start, just to make sure everyone can hear me. Can you hear me? Yes, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay, I will start. Okay, so I think most of you have known me. I'm Ee-Chien. Okay, I teach in School of Computing. And today, I think many of us cybersecurity professionals will have seen this word before, Enigma and Bombe, right? And know that they play the role in security. But very few of us know the technical details, and this is what this talk about. I'm not sure whether you can use it in CTF, but anyway, it's fun to know. In World War II, okay, what happened in World War II is that there's a wide deployment of a long-range radio communication. That means they use radio to send messages. Radio sent over the air, then it can be eavesdrop. If it eavesdrop, then we need to protect it through encryption. If it's protected, the eavesdropper will try to break it. That is a cryptanalysis. Cryptanalysis is to break it. And then later you can see that many cryptanalyses require a lot of intensive calculation of repetitive primitive calculations, which is very suitable for machine to do it. And this, in fact, is one of the major driving force behind invention of computer. So later on, the CS people say that, oh, security is only part of the cyber computer science. Then we say, wait a minute, security is actually the mother of computer. Okay, yeah. So let's look at the example of the bomb. Okay, what happened in Europe? Okay, when the war started, the American using their industrial might, okay, send a lot of resources to the UK, the British, for the defense and later preparation of D-Day. So all these have been sent across Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean is huge and no side can control it. And the German solution is to send a fleet of a submarine, they call it U-boat, okay, to disrupt the process. And they were very successful. Okay. The U-boat was, of course, in the ocean, it's a big ocean, they had to communicate through radio and will be intercepted. and the message is encrypted using Enigma. Enigma is an encryption device. And later on, as we learn later, Alan Turing led a team with Polish scientists and British scientists. They built a machine called the bomb to break it. They successfully break it, and then they get the location of the U-boat through the communication. And you can see that from this graph, the effectiveness of the U-boat dropped a lot at the later stage of the war. Okay, it was believed that this breaking of this Enigma code contribute greatly, okay, to the success of this U-boat war. On the Pacific sides, okay, the Japanese, okay, is winning the war. In the beginning, there's a Pearl Harbor, and later there's a Coral War, where US lost a aircraft carrier. What turned it is this battle in Midway. So what happened in the Midway is the Japanese, they plan a surprise attack. They want to conduct surprise attacks on a US aircraft carrier, but their message was intercepted and decoded. Okay, and then because of this, instead of having a surprise attack, they are being ambushed, and as a result, they lost actually 4 aircraft carriers. Okay. The code that was broken is JN25, Japanese Navy code. British contribute a lot in breaking this code, and their unit actually happened to be in Singapore, was in Singapore, in Sirita Navy base, okay, naval base. I think later on Singapore lost to Japanese, and then they shift to Sri Lanka. Okay. What about the other side? German also broke British code. Okay, you can see more example from here. Okay. And there are many movies about this. Okay, of course, we have the imitation games about Alan Turing. Unfortunately, most part of the movie talking about his personal life rather than the Enigma machine, the bomb machine. And there's another one, it's called U571. I didn't watch it. I think the Rotten Tomato rating is not very high. But anyway, this is an event of they try to capture the U-boat. Okay, they saw a U-boat, they did not sink it, they capture it. Okay. And why they want to capture it? Because they want to get the Enigma machine. Okay. I will talk about it later. Okay. And this movie U571 is fictional. There's no such thing, but there are actual events like that. In fact, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 events, known event. U1110, U559, U744, U505. Okay. So, okay, let's go to the technical detail. Somehow I forgot to stress a word. I changed the title a little bit. I think in the title, I call it how they encrypt and how they decipher in World War II. But now I put in 2 words, without computer. Now you have to go back in time. Remember, there wasn't any computer at that times. Okay. So Enigma machine, they want to encrypt. You cannot write a program to encrypt. You have to design a machine to encrypt. Okay, without electronics component. Enigma machine is the encryption device used by the German. Okay. As we know in our course, what is the encryption? Encryption taking the plain text and the secret key and output a ciphertext. The computation is done by mechanical in an electrical manipulation. Okay. And before we start, we need to know something simple, crypto. Okay. Substitution cipher, I guess many of us know about this. If you read Harry Potter or Da Vinci Code or anything like that, okay, or Nancy Drew. Okay. So for encryptions, the secret key is a table below. It's called a substitution table. The input plain text, let's call it hello world. You want to encrypt using this substitution table. How do you do it? Look up from this table. H correspond to X. So you put X there. E correspond to U. So you put a U there. L correspond to N. And you put it there. Okay, so this is a simple substitution cipher. This is very weak, very vulnerable. And then we also know that by something called frequency analysis, by hand, using hand, we can decipher it. if we know that the plain text is an English sentence. Okay, so this is very weak, cannot be used. So what we need to have is somehow during encryption, we use a different substitution cipher table at every location. For example, for H, you use a substitution tables. For E, you use another substitution tables. Okay, and L, another one, and so on and so on. And this substitution table will be derived from the secret key. Okay, right? So right now for encryption, this one we only saw in storybook, like Nancy Drew or maybe Harry Potter. Okay, it cannot be used because we're using the same table for the same location. Okay, we want to do it securely. Somehow we have to use different table at different locations. And now how do we get all these different tables? Derived from the key, secret key. So how this machine do it? Okay, so this Enigma machines. So there are 4 important components. At the top is a removable rotors. These are the secret key. There are 8 of them. They can be taken out, removable, it can be taken out, and there are choice of 8. So you choose 8 of them and put it there. Okay. And there's a keyboard. Okay, this keyboard is more like how we use on the keyboard. We want to encrypt. We type on the keyboard. We key in the A. Suppose A, we press A here and D light out, or A is being encrypted to D. Okay, so these are some light. Lamp, they call it lamp board. You press A here, and then this one will appear. Okay, and this is a plug box. This is also part of secret key. The operator will join the every pairs, okay, with a cable. How do you join it? That is the secret communication. The secret key, part of the secret key. Okay, and basically summarize how do we operate it. To set up, okay, both sides have to have a secret key, right? Secret key. So now, operator want to encrypt something. What do? They look at a secret key. Secret key will tell them which 3 rotors to be used. There are 8 rotors. You choose 3 of them and then insert into here. Okay, this picture have 4. Okay, usually it's 3. Okay, so you put 3 rotor, 3 out of the 8 put it here. After you put it in, you have to rotate it. Turn it to the initial location. Okay, there are 28 possibility, 26. So you turn it to the initial location, and then link this up. Okay, there are 13 pairs of them. Link it up. Okay, these are secret key. So after the operator do this, then he started to type. You type A, P, something like out. Okay, encrypt to this. Then you type this, something like out. You encrypt to this. Fine. Yeah. And how is this done? Okay, first, there's a design idea. Idea, I spelled it wrongly. Idea. First design idea. We can use electrical circuit as substitution tables. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, so you look at this. Okay, this is the keyboard. This is a keyboard, right? So this one is every key. Okay, every key there's some wiring, something like this. Okay, this is wiring. This wiring will go to the rotor. A rotor have some connection. You look at a rotor, something like this. They expand it out. Okay, so there is 26 of them. Now for simplicity, I draw 4 of them. And there is some combination drawing here, like you play mahjong, such scramble around. So this one link to here, this one link to here, this one link to here. So the rotor internal picture is something like this. A lot of wire linking the input to output, just link. So there are 3 rotor, and then this one will link it out and then go back and so on, right? Okay, and over here is the light bulb. Okay, the light bulb is here, and there's a battery. Okay. So now, suppose, okay, so this one corresponds to a substitution table. Why? Suppose A being pressed. Okay, I press A. Now A is the key, right? A is the keyboard, right? A is the keyboard here. So now I press it down. Over here, press. A is pressed. After A is pressed, we found that there is a closed circuit. Okay, look through this picture. Oh, this circuit is closed. Remember, these are wire. These are not virtual. These are real wire. Okay, wire. And this circuit is closed because, and this circuit is closed and there's a battery here. Just now I draw that there's a battery here. Circuit is closed. This light bulb will light out. Okay, so A is being substituted to C. You press A, C will light out. You press B, D will light out. If there are 26 of them, there is actually 13 cycle, individual disconnected cycle. Okay, you press one of them, so A will be decrypted to encrypt to C, and this is a symmetric. C is also encrypted to A. Fine. So now we know that we can use circuit, okay, to realize substitution. Okay. Second design idea, okay, wrong spelling again. We need a different substitution table at different location. Remember, right? Suppose the substitution table is the same for every key, every location can be easily broken. So we need to change the substitution table at every location of the plain text. So how is this achieved? They achieve using mechanical mechanism. Okay, using mechanical. There's a rotor. This tree is a rotor, right? This is a tree rotor. When this is wiring before the rotor is depressed, a key is depressed. When you press a key, okay, when you press a key, through mechanical design, one of the rotor rotate one click. Okay, this is a rotor, right? See the picture of rotor. When it's pressed, this rotor will rotate one click. You rotate one click. When you rotate one click, the wiring change. Okay, this wiring configuration change. Right. Okay. When this one is click, it change. When it change to a different substitution table. Okay, so now I have a different substitution table. And why do we need three rotor? We rotate. After 26 round, you go back to the original. So the length is very short. You repeat to the same substitution table after 26, which is not so nice. So now you have three rotor. When this rotate after this move for a few click, he will trigger this to rotate one click. Right, the first rotor after a few, then he will trigger this. This one will rotate, and likewise for 2 and 3. So now the substitution table will only repeat after these three of them finish their whole cycle, which is very long. Okay, so now we have the substitution scheme that change at every location. That is the two main idea of Enigma. Fine, a very smart design. Okay. And the third idea, okay, then you look at this. The encryption is reciprocal. A encrypt to B, B encrypt to C. Okay, and character never get encrypted to himself. Okay, this is very good. This is features. Okay, encryption and decryption is the same. I think I've taught in my class. I always stress that a features that is useful usually is weakness can be exploited. Okay, so this is also the one of the weakness reciprocal for this encryption scheme. Okay. The third design idea is that they want to have much more secret bit. And how do they do it? They add an initial permutation. This is the original wiring. So this part, you break it up, you break out this part, and this part is a plug board. Okay, this part plug board. Okay. And now how this is linked together is a secret. It's a secret. There are 13 pair of them, so we're going to leave. Okay. So this gives the full design of Enigma. So from right now, I think probably you can write a simple Java program or Python program to simulate the full internal mechanism of Enigma. Okay, yeah. Okay, and summary. Okay, then how do we encrypt? To encrypt, it's supposed to encrypt. The plain text will go through this first permutation, which is fixed for every location. but it's a secret. Okay, and then go through the rotor, and rotor will get rotated, right? And then when you put it in, they will turn it to the initial location. The initial location is a secret. Okay. So this is how the encryption is done. And summary, the key space. What is the key space? The plug bot. Okay, you can do some calculation. It will be this number of communication, different pairs, 13 pairs, right? You can do it. I forgot how I did. Okay, will be 1.5 times 10 raised to the power 14. Rotor. You have to choose 3 rotor and put it in. Total, there are 8 possible rotors. Okay, so 8 times 7 times 7, 6. Okay, this is a possible rotor. And you have to, after you put it in, have to turn to the initial location. So 26 raised to the power of 3. Fine. Yeah, so this is the total key space. After you do it, 2 raised to the power 67. Okay, 2 raised to the power 67 in today, compute power can be done quite easily. Okay, but this with computer. Okay, 30 years ago, even with a computer, that 2 raised to the power 67 is something still not reachable. Okay, yeah. So Germany is very proud of it. They feel that this is unbreakable. Okay. Now we want to break it. Okay. How do we break it? This is a collective effort. In the movie, you see Alan Turing lead a team, but also there are many other people putting a lot of effort, especially from the Poland mathematician. Okay, the basic design actually is done by the Polish mathematician, and more than 20 bomb was built. Okay, and after the war, their prime minister ordered them to be destroyed. So all are destroyed after the war, and later on they make a replica and put in the museum. Okay, so you go to the England, probably you can visit the museum to see the replica. Okay, this is a replica. Okay, so how do they do it? How do they break it? First, you need to get the algorithms. Okay. Right, to break it, you need to know the algorithms. How do they get the algorithms? I mentioned before, they capture the U-boat. They capture a U-boat in order to get the algorithm. They get the Enigma device, they reverse engineer and look at the rotor and everything, so they get a full algorithm. So what they don't know is a secret key. Right, so this is what we taught in class. Algorithm is known to the world, only the secret key. Okay, the opponent will try their best to get the algorithms. Okay, they steal, they capture, they get the spies, and so on. So they get this. They call it crypt attacks, but actually this is what we always modern term is known plain text attacks. And later on they use some exhaustive search to do it, and we'll explain later. Okay, so what is a known plain text attacks? Somehow you have to get a pair of plain text. Okay, this is in German. I forgot what this means. I think it's probably the weather or something like that. Weather report or something. Okay, this is a plain text and the corresponding ciphertext. How to get it? They through many means, using spy or whatever. Somehow they get a pair of plain text and ciphertext, or they through guesswork, because they know that most likely the plain text is a weather report at this location. So I think this is something like weather report. Okay, yeah. So now, given this plain text, ciphertext, find the key. After the key is found, we can use it to decrypt the rest of the plain text and the subsequent message. Right? Okay. So this is no plain text attacks. So how to do it? First idea, they use exhaustive search. Okay, they try to use mechanical system and some electrical system to do exhaustive search. Okay. And now for the first idea, we don't consider plug bot first. Remember, there are 3 parts, right? There are 3 parts. The plug bot, this combination, and this one, the rest. So they do exhaustive search on this one, really exhaustive search, rest CD for loop. Okay. So they want to do exhaustive search on this space, and this part is done using automated machine to do exhaustive search. This one is by hand. This one is by hand. So what do you mean by that? So by hand, the operator will choose 3 rotor, put it there, and then they press the button, or then this one will run. This exhaustive for I equal 1 to 2, 26 raised to the power of 3. Using mechanical means, okay, they will do it in 6 minutes. Okay, after this is done, cannot crack it. Okay, by hand, replace choose it, another rotor, set of rotor, press the button, then this thing will run. There's a sound like that's why it's called a bomb. Okay, this thing will run for 6 minutes, and then you know whether to crack it. Okay, so there's this part, first part. And how do they do this part? Now I will explain how do they do this part. So this is a machine that did this part. So basically, you have the ciphertext, you have the plaintext. So you know that this, for example, I have only 4 characters. So this is a ciphertext. Okay, this is a plaintext. They capture the machine, right? They capture Enigma, so they reproduce it. They reproduce many of all this rotor. They'll put it here. Then they apply current here. They apply current here. Okay. If you're using the correct rotor set at the same initial location, then if you put current apply here and put a light bulb here, this light bulb will light out. Right? If we are using the same set, correct set of rotor at the same location. So this is the first ciphertext. Second ciphertext will be this one. Rotate 1 click, right? Because second ciphertext, after you press it, you go to the next click, right? So this one is this particular one. Rotate 1 click. This one rotate 2 click, 3 click, 4 click, and so on. The operator will put this in. Okay, the poor operator will say that, okay, now I want to choose this 3 rotor. So he prepare the rotor, then he put in, they put in a location, they put it in at all location 0. Second one will put it at location 1, then put it at location 2, he click it, and so on. He put it in. And then he looked at, oh, this is a plaintext, ciphertext. Then he put in connect the wire to here, connect the wire to here, connect the wire to here. If it's correct, all this will light out. They design it so that if this is correct, if all light out, this is all end operation, the machine will stop and put a light. Okay. After the operator put it in, then you press the button, then there's a motor there, started to rotate this, started to rotate, okay, started to rotate this, keep rotating this very fast. They rotate as how many rounds? They say that they rotate at 120 rounds per minute. So they rotate 120 rounds, the top one will rotate 120 rounds per minute. Then after 6 minutes, they adjust all the 26 raised to the power of 3 possible location. Okay, so now they do the exhaustive search. Done. Okay, they do exhaustive search using mechanical device to do it in 6 minutes to search this space. Okay, and this one is by hand. Okay. But still cannot break the thing. Why? There is a plug board here. Remember, there's a plug board here. The choices of plug board is 1.5 times 10 raised to the power 14. Okay. Why now it cannot be used? Why it cannot be used? Because you have to put in the ACD, this one, right? Put it in the rotor, and this one is permuted with a secret permutation. So the operator will not know which wire to put it in, right? You have to look at here, you have to put in here, right? The operator had to put in here, 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 and then put a tab here, put a tab here, put a tab here, put a tab here, then started to run. Okay, now because all the characters being permuted by a secret key, secret permutation, they are unable to do it. So doesn't work. And now, okay, they use second idea. There is a flaw in the crypto. Okay, you look at this purely from algorithmic point of view, like you are designing a crypto scheme, you found that there is a flaw. The initial permutation doesn't help at all. Okay, this plug board doesn't help at all in hiding the secret. Okay, why is this so? Okay, so some mathematics. Okay, now you look at the ciphertext. This is a ciphertext. This is a plain text. Then you can form a undirected graph. Okay, A in the first one go to C. You draw it this one, and then C go to D, and A go to B at the third position, and D go to A at the fourth position, and at the fifth position B go to A. Okay, they keep doing this until they see loop. Okay, they take a pair of plain text and ciphertext to plot this graph, undirected graph, until they see that there's a loop in the graph. Okay, why this group in the graph, a loop cycle in the graph is important? Because there's an initial permutation. We do not know where he permuted to what, but he will be mapped to some V. He'll map to some symbol. You know that under this symbol, if he's using after this secret substitution table, will go to something, then he go to something, and go to something. After 4 steps, he'll go back to himself. He'll go back himself. Okay. So we do not know this permutation will map it to what, but we know that there exists a symbol. Okay. After the first permutation, second permutation, and the fourth permutation will go back to himself. Okay. So this is a constraint. This is a constraint. So you write down the constraint. We know that if we are right at the right position, at the right rotor, then there exists a V. There exists a V. We do not know what it is because it is after a permutation. We don't know what it is, but there exists. There exists a V that after the first one, second one, fourth one will go back to himself. Express it in mathematical notation like that. So mathematical notation is useful to express this idea. Okay. That in fact, there's a 2 loop, first one and second one. Second one. This V will loop back to himself. Okay, so that we know that there exists such a thing. There exists such a thing. But do we know which one? We do not know. But we do not know we can do a for loop to do it. Okay, so now I change to this pseudocode. Okay, for every combination of this, for this one, then for every symbol C, I don't know which one, but I just try any one. If this thing hold, then found. Right? Okay, so this is the main idea. Okay, we know that because it's a permutation and this form a cycle, we know that there exists, if it's correct position, there exists a V that will, after this tree, go back to himself, after this tree, go back himself. So now I rewrote my pseudocode to be try all possible combination of rotor, try all combination of the positions, then check whether after the permutation, because the rotor I have, right, check whether this will map to back to him. Okay, and then this one map to him is yes, then found. So now the exhaustive search, okay, reduced from what? Instead of having 26 factorial here, it becomes 26. Okay, yeah. Right, because the permutation is 26 factorial, right? Okay, so instead of 26 factorial, we reduce to 26. So this is doable, right? Okay, yeah. And in fact, they achieve much more. Later, I'll show you the picture using some smart electrical design. All this one can be do in one. This check can be do in one step. Instead of 26 steps, they can do it in one step. Okay, in one step. So how is this done? Okay, so you arrange, the way they do it is they arrange the rotor, okay, according to this graph. Okay, they arrange it according to the graph. Now, they apply a current here. They apply current here. They do not know, say there exists a C such as this, right? We don't know what is this C. Let's suppose I apply a C at this place. Okay, I apply this place. You apply in this place, then you found that because of the constraint, okay, the constraint, this one will link to some wire. Where's my mouse? This one will go to somewhere, right? Because We don't know what is this combination. This one will link to here. This one will go to here, and then this one will go to here. And because of the constraint, because of this constraint, where this one must output, this must go to this one. Because he had to go back to himself. There exists a C, this C, get back to him, a loop. Okay, if everything at the right position, you put in the right rotor, this thing will go one round, loop back to himself here. And then the top one also satisfied, you loop back to himself. So this one will be, or the red one will be like out. And this is important. Why? What about the black one? The black one have no electricity, no voltage. Okay. If this is right position, it divide to two groups, two components. Everything red or no voltage. The rest no voltage. What if the rotor is wrong? They make a wrong guess of the key. Okay, a lot of attack of the key guessing is this, right? We say that suppose I guess the correct key, what will happen? And suppose I guess the wrong key, what will happen? Suppose the key is wrong. Suppose you guess the wrong key. Okay, the rotor, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. It's not a correct key. Okay, it's not a correct key. This does not satisfy. Right, this does not satisfy. Then you apply the voltage. Okay, it doesn't satisfy. What do I mean by that? This will go to another wire. Okay, it did not go back to the C. Go back to somewhere else. You go back somewhere else, the wire will go to here. Then he will go to somewhere else, and you go. Whoa! In the end, everything light out. Okay, if it's a wrong key, there's voltage everywhere. If it's a correct key, the voltage only appear at the red. Okay, so this is I apply at C because I'm lucky. I apply this one because remember I have to apply every wire. I have to apply here, and test, right? And what if I apply it at the everything is correct, but I apply at B? Okay, just now I mentioned that it divide to two circuits, everything red or everything black. You apply it here, then all the black will light up, but there is one that is not light up. Okay, right? So now this gives a very interesting way. Okay, how do we test that we are at the right key? We just apply voltage at any wire and see whether there exists one that is not light out. If there exists another one is not light out, then we are at the right key. Otherwise, everything light out. So there is a mean to check whether we are at the right key in one check. Right? Look at this algorithm. Okay, this pseudocode. Now we have a means that after we do all this, we can in one check to check whether this is the correct key. Okay, so it's done. Okay, then they do this, then they started to run, and everything can be done in 6 minutes. Summary. Okay, so this one is by hand. The operator, choose 3 rotor, go replace, put in there, make sure everything one click, then go behind to key in the ciphertext, plain text, and connect what they call the manual, right? Make all the connection. After everything is done, then you press a button. After you press a button, mechanical device will exhaustively search this everything in 6 minutes. The thing keep rotate 120 rounds per second, per minute. Then they can done everything in 6 minutes. And for each of them is one check. Okay, the electricity trigger, when you found, then you will automatically short circuit and then you will stop. Okay, yeah. So this is the mechanism. Okay, fine, yeah. So some remark. Okay, there's a small little fine note. I put it there. I don't know whether anyone noticed it. Okay, this is a if then statement. If then, necessary but not sufficient. Okay, so that means that no guarantee. Okay, if it's a correct key, this must be satisfied. It's a wrong key, this may satisfy. Okay, it's a wrong key, it may. Okay, so it is not but the probability is very low. Okay, so this is a part that I show here, the remark. Okay, they maybe have some false key, and Turing derives a tools to estimate the expected number of wrong key. And then later on, they put in additional check, which are not included here. It's called diagonal board by Golden, to further reduce the false alarm. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is using non-plain text attacks. Non-plain text attacks. Non-plain is something that we have to take care. So modern design, we take into consideration of non-plain text attacks. That means attacker know a pair of plain text and the corresponding ciphertext. In fact, if you have done the crypto or the 2107, you know that we have to in modern cryptography, we have to consider more than non-plain text attacks. We have to concern of chosen plain text attacks. The attacker can choose any plain text and then get the ciphertext. In fact, we have to be concerned of chosen cybertext attacks. Attacker can choose a ciphertext and then there's an oracle to decrypt on it. In fact, one famous example is padding oracle. Okay, there's a padding oracle is a chosen ciphertext attacks. If we use encryption scheme that's secure against CCA, then we don't have to worry of padding oracle. Okay, yeah. So this is another example illustrating Kernoff principle. What is Kernoff principle? All algorithm we have to, for analysis, for security, we have to assume that attacker know the algorithms. The security is achieved by the key length, the secrecy of the key. So this is one example, right? They go to the extent of capturing the U-boat. To capture a U-boat, instead of sinking it, in order to get the encryption device, to get the algorithms. And okay, this also illustrates a motivated attacker who try very hard, okay, to break the system, okay, even in capturing the whole U-boat. Okay, okay, cryptanalysis was one of the driving force behind invention of computer. Okay, look at that. How to do cryptanalysis? A lot of intensive computation, and the computation is repetitive, right? Look like something that can be done by a machine. And then this what thing to their, I mean, the people who look at this, they have a lot of fun to do this, money to do this, to do the attacks, and then they diverge a lot of effort in inventing a machine that can do the cryptanalysis, can do repetitive, intensive computation. And in the end, if they found that, in fact, they achieve much more. They get a general purpose computer. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm done. So, okay, we probably have some time for Q&A. So you feel free to type your question in the chat. Or yeah, so anyone have any question? I think we have how many people we have? 48. So you feel free to, I don't know whether you can unmute yourself. You also feel free to unmute and ask your questions. Yeah. By the way, when I first learned about this, I thinking, why not I go to buy one Enigma machine? Then I go to eBay, and then I know that I'm nowhere that I can get it. Okay, I think they sold it there over one for more than $100,000. Okay, yeah. Hi, Prof. Are you teaching 4236 crypto theory and practice? Okay, this is out of scope for this talk, but I'm not teaching. Professor Hill is teaching this semester. Okay, yeah. For 4236, we'll do much more than that. Okay, yeah. But you can see the principle of cracking is, if you do 4236, you can see there's some way of how we do crypto attacks. Attack is usually we have some mechanism, and we need a mechanism to decide whether the key is correct or not. So over here, you can see that, oh yeah, as long as the mechanism decide the key is correct, then you have a way to do associative search. Yeah. How do the German know which key to use? Oh, before the U-boat seal, then they have a cocktail party, parade, and then the commander will pass a book to the U-boat. There's a table for him. The boat, before they leave the base, then of course they have to pass the key. So the key, the symmetric key is established when they leave the port. So they may use many different keys for different days, maybe. Today use this key, the other day use this key. Okay, so there's some form of one-time pad, right? They pass them many keys, then they go. But now the idea is that they want to, from a no plain text, try to find the key that is used for that whole month, for examples. Okay, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, it seems that no question. Daniel, so we should end now, or do you have other thing for them?
Now, Debbie will talk about the networking session.
Okay, yeah. So I will stop sharing and leave now. Okay, I'll stop my share.
Thank you, Prof. Chang. So now we'll be moving on to our networking session. I will share a screen where from there you can join our networking session. So let me know when you can see it. Is everyone able to see this? Daniel, okay? Yeah. So basically, guys, you can log into our networking session on Kumo Space via this QR code, and the password is shown here. So guys, try to join room 1 or room 2 only. So right now we have about 40 plus packs, right? So 46 packs. So try to split yourselves evenly between room 1 and room 2, and our Greyhats members will be joining both rooms. And you can ask us questions, whatever questions you have at that point in time. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can just send a chat message. I should be able to see it, or you can just unmute yourself and ask your questions. Like any technical issue or whatever, just let me know. Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who have decided that you won't be able to make it for networking, you are free to go now. But if you would like to know more about Greyhats and just interact with our members, just feel free to join the networking session.